Hi guys, Nikola Radin Way podcast number 55, this time from a little bit exotic place. We are here in Greece. Some of you know that during the summertime I work with the dolphins. And today in this podcast I have two exceptional guests. They are fantastic professionals. They are also my dear friends. On the left side there is a psychologist, one of the pioneers of the dolphin therapy worldwide, and he is also the owner of the Dolphin Swim that organized the dolphin therapy mostly for the children with special needs. On my right side, there is Norbert Gochita. He is a coordinator of Dolphinarium here in Greece, in Athens. He is also a coordinator of am I right, of all dolphinariums in Europe in a certain way?
Not the dolphinarium itself, but more the population.
The population of the marine mammals. Yeah. Norbert Goichetta. For you who don't know, Norbert is from Austria, Robert is from Belgium, I'm from Serbia, so English is not our mother tongue. Therefore, if we make some linguistic mistakes, you guys are going to forget us that. I'm going to start with Norbert, with whom I worked together already for more than 10 years. And we have a magnificent, actually, work together all these times. He became a close friend of mine. And Norbert, I would ask you, actually, for someone who doesn't know what is a dolphin therapy or what is a dolphin-assisted therapy, can you explain that for the beginning, maybe only in a few sentences, what is the basic of that relatively young discipline in a therapeutic work?
Well, dolphin-assisted therapy is an animal-assisted therapy where the dolphin plays a key role in the therapeutic process. In the setting of dolphin-assisted therapy consists of a therapist, a human therapist, a trained dolphin, a dolphin trainer. He or she is a person who looks after the dolphin during the interaction, and of course the client. And for dolphin-assisted therapy, it is required that the human therapist is not only a person with a therapeutic background, but that he also or she also has a specific expertise to be able to work together with a dolphin.
Mm-hmm. What is actually the therapy, in your point of view? What is the group of the people that benefit the most out of the dolphin therapy? What are the diagnoses actually that you have found in all these years that you're doing a dolphin-assisted therapy that profit the most from this kind of therapy?
Well, dolphin-assisted therapy became famous as an effective intervention for people with autism. Mm-hmm. So I would say that this is the most predominant group that can benefit from this therapy. But we also encounter children, teenagers, and adults with a very big variety of other disorders, mental, physical, of physical nature. A very big group that we also welcome in our program are people with spastic syndromes.
Yes, like various kinds of cerebral palsy.
Exactly. And so it is not limited to people with autism. It's also people with developmental disorders, mm-hmm. Developmental delays, and from my experience, dolphin-assisted therapy is especially powerful for people with mild and intermediate disabilities.
Mm-hmm. But also, you have tried to work, so to say, with the people that are already grown up, that have had a certain kind of post-traumatic syndrome, etc., etc. Is this also a group that is interesting for dolphin therapy? Are there also a certain ways to help the people, or you think that is really specific only for the children and adolescents?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we included happily welcomed also people who have experienced a burnout, for example.
Yeah, burnout syndrome.
It's a very widely spread problem nowadays. And with the burnout, the work with the dolphin seemed to be very successful in a combination with the counseling process. So burnout, I have gathered quite some experience, and also I worked with people with post-traumatic stress, with a post-traumatic stress syndrome. And there we were also, I mean, the clients were also satisfied with their experience.
We are going to come back later to particular experiences that you have had. But now, somehow to make a bridge to Robert, what is your personal experience with dolphins? Because I think the people, generally the humans, are so interested in a species of dolphins, and you're doing it almost for 2 decades now. So that means you have spent a lot of times with these animals. What is your contact? What is your opinion about the dolphins as a species, as our, so to say, co-workers or helpers in this kind of therapy?
Well, of course, I'm a huge dolphin lover, and I got into this job because of my love for these animals, and my own experience with the dolphins and emotional experience with the dolphins right in the beginning actually took me into this job, and it never became boring to me. I think the dolphins are incredibly intelligent. They have the capacity to attract the attention and also the emotion of us humans. That's why they are so famous and all people love them. And this never wears off. Even if you work with them for 20 years, they can still surprise you, and they can still teach you something. So this is.
And another huge dolphin lover is a director of the Dolphinarium here, Robert Goichetta, our friend, who is already for 30 years, I think, in the, right, Robert?
Nearly
30
nearly
years.
30.
Yes,
I started
working with the dolphins.
1992, so it's
1992. So yes, here we go. And you started it also out of the big passion. You told me once that you have had as a child already that passion to marine mammals, and especially for the dolphins, and that you have planned basically your career already as a young man, right?
Definitely.
How did it start, and how did you become what you are today?
I think I started to have passion for this animal when I was 7 years old. It's very difficult for me to remember exactly what was the starting point. Was it Flipper, the dolphin, the TV show from the 60s? But I was a fan of it. Probably I had the possibility to visit few dolphinarium already back then. I don't know. This animal was fascinating me, and I wanted to see them more. I wanted to know more. I wanted to learn about them. So I started first by buying book. Back then we didn't have internet, so we were just going to the library. We were reading book. We were watching documentary on TV already, and then I wanted to see them alive. So I went to visiting a zoo aquarium that they were having them. I had the chance also to see them in their natural environment, which was an amazing experience. And you just want to know more and more and more and more. And at some point you say, well, I would like to work with them. This is really how the whole thing started. And it was a long process that bring me to them. But I was really determined to do this. And it was not easy, you know, when you are outside of this world. How can you do that job? You know, should I be a biologist? Should I be a veterinarian? Should I be an oceanographer? What should I do to do that?
Yeah.
And we didn't have tool to understand how to step in, how to. Nowadays, if someone wants to start this career, it's much more easy. You know, you just go on the web and there is possibility. Back then, no. So you really had to move and to be a bit boring, you know, with people knocking on the door. Yeah, I really want to do it. You know, I would like to do that. I would like to do that, and please help me. And if you are determined, so at some points you met the right person at the right moment, and then the opportunity is given, and then it's a completely new world that opened to me, which was a dream for so many years.
Who gave you first that opportunity?
I had the luck to start working with those animals, marine mammals. I would not say dolphins.
Yes.
I started working with pinnipeds first, sea lions.
Sea lions, yeah.
And I started in a park in Belgium, which was a small park. I just didn't long time there, but it was a very important place for me because it was the starting of everything. And the owner of that place, still a friend, and he's really the guy who gave me the chance. And he said, okay, now I open the door for you now. Go to make your story, and this is what I did. And from there I moved in several countries all over the world, working in different places, and up to now where I arrived in Greece already 9 years ago, taking care of this facility, those animals, and I still love it.
Of course you do, yeah. And you're taking amazing care about the dolphins, you know. I have been also in so many dolphinariums in my life. And here in Attica, we have 9 dolphins. They are in fantastic shape. They are really very well treated animals, also your sea lions. And I think this is really beautiful because you can feel here that you and your team, you're giving really your best for all these animals.
Well, it has to be. I mean, there is an ethical question here. Dolphins are not made to live in such an environment. Okay.
Yes.
But they adapt to it very, very well. I think that's why, because they're really adaptable animal that they can live in under human care. But one thing that we should always keep in mind is at the moment that you place in a facility like this, they're absolutely, totally dependent on you. Everything. The quality of the water, their food, their companion that will come, that will go. The activity that you do, everything is depending on you. It's an enormous responsibility. And you have to take it very seriously, because then it's not a job that, it's 4 o'clock, my day's over, I go home, I don't think anymore about it. You go home, we have, of course, a schedule like everybody has, but you live dolphin 24/7.
Yes.
That's for sure. And it's not
you
only,
think of them all the time, actually, also when you're off.
I don't think it's only related to the dolphin. Here we are in a zoo, you know, we have 2,000 animals, and we have a lot of zookeeper here. We have elephant, cats, birds, reptiles, and everything, and everybody in charge of his animals. When you keep animal under human care and you decide to work with them, you really have to have a predisposition of a big respect for them. But it's not a job you say, well, today I don't want.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Of course, we are a team, so we balance each other when we are tired because we are human. But it's a nice job. I mean, working with animals, live animal and dolphin especially, you don't see them anymore like animal. After they become colleagues, because they work with you,
and they all have a specific characteristics and characters.
All different.
They're all different, totally.
Each one of them. That's why it's nice, because if it was so easy, if they were all the same, it was all mechanical, I would say it's even boring.
Yes.
For them and for us.
Yes.
The fact is you never know what will happen with them. You can anticipate it, you can imagine it.
Yes.
But it's every day a surprise.
Fantastic. Norbert, you started actually your love and your journey with the dolphins back in the days in Egypt with one ambassador dolphin. You told me that wonderful story that got you into this world, and afterwards you have running the dolphin therapy first in Ukraine, then in Turkey, then in Romania for some time, now in Greece, and you're still doing also the Turkey. And what are the experiences? What are the differences that you have realized and that journey, you know? Because I can imagine your experiences from Ukraine are one chapter of your life, the experiences from Turkey is something else. What was specific for every single country that you worked And what was specific for the dolphins that were there, that you had the chance to work with them as a therapist?
Well, the work with the dolphins and in my biography with the dolphins, yeah, it was definitely quite a journey. And I think that in each place that I worked and in each team I worked and all the animals that I worked with, I took something with me, an experience, a learning, and all the places had some learning gifts and realizations for me. When I stepped into this, when I got into this work with dolphins, it was my personal experience because a friend of mine took me to this place in Egypt to see this wild dolphin who befriended with a Bedouin guy. So this was a fisherman, a guy who couldn't speak because of speech disorder, disability.
Wow.
And he also was deaf. He could not hear, and he was a bit excluded from the
society,
from the village boys. Yeah.
Okay.
And also the fishermen are the lowest in the hierarchy of a Bedouin village.
Okay.
So, you know, those guys, you know, the higher guys, they do work with camels or they do trading, business or whatever, but fisherman is the lowest. And
okay.
So he was this like low caste guy, and he met, and this dolphin approached him, at his boat when he was fishing.
Okay.
And so he shared a fish with her, and she kept coming and hung out with him. And
so they established the kind of
relationship
and friendship.
That was in 1993 when
wow.
it started. So they slowly established a relationship with each other. And that went on and deepened and intensified over the years. At the beginning, it was quite like a remote outside in the reef, in the fishing grounds. But then later on, she followed him to the village. And I arrived in this place in 1997. Mm-hmm. So that was already, I mean, this was going on already for a few years or so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By that time, she hung out there in front of his house pretty much the whole day. Sometimes in the night, she went off for hunting or whatever business she looked after. But during the day, she was almost there almost every day. So, and this friend of mine, he was from Israel, and the Israelis, they knew about it because at that time it was a kind of like hippie vacation place for Israelis to go. Mm-hmm. So he told me about it. He took me there, and I was like completely that blew my mind. And I mean, this semi-wild dolphin, and it was, you know, I dived with her, and sometimes when she was in the mood, together with the Bedouin guy, she would also allow to be touched, but very rarely. You really had to like calm down, be really, immerse, so that she would really let you close. So she played also with this close and distance thing. And that was amazing for me. And
did you guys know back in the days that she is a female?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Because this is not very typical for females. Normally, the male dolphins are the ones that get in touch with humans.
Exactly, because solo dolphins, solo males are usually clan bosses who became old, and they were thrown out of the society. Another male took over the power over the clan
as alpha
exactly.
Animal,
and that male leaves the group, and then he lives as a solo, or he befriends with another male. And then this is why we sometimes also encounter male couples. They are usually old alphas that left the group, but this was a female. And it is indeed a little bit an unsolved mystery why this solo female why she
Do
was
you have
there.
an idea what could happen there, Robert? Because you know the dolphins so well, and you know that these ambassador dolphins are mostly male. And in his case, we have that story of the female dolphin in Egypt.
There actually
That is
I know
known.
a few cases of females.
They are.
There is, but you're right. There is much more cases of males. I believe for the reason I absolutely agree with Norbert that this is
Thrown out of the group.
Excluded. I believe that some animals also are just opportunistic. You know, that they are. It's related also to fishing activities.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then they find a source of calories very easy, you know, to get, and they just take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Especially if you have an animal that is solitary. That we don't know if I don't know the case of that particular animal, but maybe that animal has a life with a pod that we don't know. You know,
It was the case because she got pregnant 3 times during the time
she
I
was
probably
she was probably interacting with a group of dolphins, but she also
had her spare time.
She has
with
a spare time, but you know, when she was not there, she was more probably with other dolphins, socializing or whatever. I think why are they doing this? Maybe each case is different. You know, I think some animals are really rejected by the group, or maybe it can be a young animal that lost the mother and doesn't know really how to hunt, or an animal was sick and then he recovered but close to the human activity, was fed and he found this comfortable, so he will just stay there. As a dolphin professional, the only thing that I would recommend is for people who has contact with animal like this is just to be very respectful first to. Many people say, you see a dolphin, well, I want to swim with it.
Yeah,
so that's the
jump
first
immediately.
thing. So we go in the pool, we go in the water, we go in the sea in this case, and you say, I want to swim with them. I want to dive with them. I want that he give me the dorsal fin. I want that he drug me. It's always, I want. I think we have sometimes to step back and just saying, what does really the animal want? Okay? Does he really want to swim with you? Does he really want to dive with you? Or maybe he's just there by curiosity, he just want to observe you. Maybe he's waiting for food. We don't know. It's very difficult to give an interpretation of this animal behavior in that moment. Those animals can also react negatively if they expect something and you offer them something else. The reaction might not be always so friendly. That can happen, and it has happened with some animal. I knew a case of a dolphin like this in a port in Italy. He was following the fishermen when the fishing boat fleet was going back in the port. He was just following because he was eating or was falling down, and he was very famous in Italy. Filippo was his nickname. And then he was staying in the harbor. And of course, it was an attraction of the small location there. So the people started to jump in the water, but he didn't want that. He wanted just to eat the fish falling down from the fishing boats.
And being left alone.
So I was back then working in a park in Italy, and I had many people from that location coming to me and asking me, how you do all your stuff with the dolphin? Because we go there, he's beating us, he's biting us, he's doing this. And I told them, maybe he doesn't want to do that, you know. The dolphin I work with, I know what I can do with them because I know in which condition they are. I know, are they ready to do that? If they are doing something that different and they don't want to be disturbed, I have the possibility to understand it. With a wild dolphin, how can you?
Yeah.
You just make a speculation. Well, it's a dolphin, it's nice. The dolphin don't attack people. So, well, that's not true. They can if they feel threat. And and you just go, and sometimes you can have a bad surprise. I am, in general, not a big fan of interaction with
wild dolphins.
Wild dolphin in general. I think those animals should be, if you have to interact with them, they should be very well studied. We should know more about the individual, knowing a bit more. I think it was the case for that female. You said when you went there, it was already years that she was going there. So I believe that they have accumulated experience with that animal on what was possible to do and what was not possible to do, what she was allowing the people to do and not allowing. But
the Bedouin guy even did a small show with her in the late days. She would do leaps and
So he trained her basically a little bit.
Yeah, well, you can condition the animal. The animal learn. You know, I think one of the characteristics of the dolphin is that make this animal interesting. You know, we keep saying the word dolphin. In reality, the word dolphin doesn't make a lot of sense. Dolphin, it's a family. It's a family of animal. What we have here on your back is
Yeah.
bottlenose dolphin.
Yeah.
It's one species of dolphin, but those are Tursiops truncatus. That's the scientific name. There is many species of dolphin, nearly 40.
Yeah.
But in the everybody think dolphin, it's that.
Yes,
You know,
the
because this is
bottlenose,
this
yeah.
sympathetic
Smile.
face, the smile, and everything. But it's just one species.
Yeah.
You know,
And there are even
So-
several kinds of bottlenose
and even
dolphins.
in the bottlenose,
Yeah.
you also
There were
have
several
diversity.
kinds.
Yeah, because Olin, for example, was an Indicus bottlenose
Aduncus,
dolphin. She
yes,
was very tall and had spotted belly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
very beautiful
Amazing,
and
amazing.
very tall dolphin.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So somehow we all fell in love with the dolphins relatively young. In your case, that was that Egyptian story. In my case, was the case of Delfin Joce in Montenegro. And then you have found out that there is a dolphin therapy, probably as I did in a certain point, a little bit later after you. You found out about the work of David Nathanson, right, in Florida.
Yeah.
And as a psychologist, you started your own dolphin therapy. We can call it organization, right? Or even a company or whatever, institute,
Yeah,
whatever
that
it
was
is.
a bit of process.
That was a bit process,
That was
right?
a bit of process.
Yeah.
Well,
You started in Ukraine, right? That was your first, no?
Actually, I started in that place in Egypt with Olin, with this
all
wild dolphin.
right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, after I had this experience for myself, and that I was like totally, you know, affectionated by it, and I said to myself, I got to return to this place. And when I got back, I started to tell everyone, you know, about this place and about this experience, and actually a lot of, you know, a small group of my friends and people from friends, I gathered a group and we returned to this place for a week to meet Olin and stay with the Bedouin people there, with the tribe at the beach, and that was the first dolphin group that I organized. It was actually just it was planned as a one-time thing, but then after this trip, I organized another trip, and I went there. I don't know, 10 times or so, with groups of dolphin enthusiasts who wanted to spend a week with this dolphin, to become part of this experience. And but the goal was also in this group, we actually lived, we stayed with the Bedouins, we slept in their tents, we became part of their hospitality, and meeting the dolphin was also together with this Bedouin guy Abdallah, who was the main guy for Olin. So it was really respectful. This was my attitude towards this whole thing. You know, to meet her in her habitat in a respectful way, to become part of this unique experience and unique encounter. And when I led these groups, when I organized these groups, I saw that a lot of psychological process
Are taking place
at the people.
Okay.
In the combination of the experience, to stay in this like really very primitive accommodation with the Bedouin people, eating with the people, very simple but very, very ancient atmosphere. And the nature and the dolphins, so all this is, it was an experience where people started to, in the evening, the conversations were profound. People talked about their lives. I mean, what they want to change in their lives, what is really necessary in life, and all these kind of topics. And I became interested, you know, that, okay, this has also, there is a psychological value, of this, what's happening here. And then, and I started at that time to study psychology, and I thought, wow, this has a potential. And then quite quickly, through a period of 3 years, I developed a kind of like psychotherapeutic counseling kind of dolphin trips, but for adults and families, not for people with disabilities. I found out by experience, it was not my intention, that there is a psychological value in this experience, in this total experience of being there and dolphin and everything. Yeah, and then this lady phoned me up and asked me whether she could participate with her child with disability, with autistic boy.
Sure.
And I thought, well, I don't know. I said to her, I don't know. It is a very primitive setting there. I don't know if it's okay
for you to live the way we live there. Yeah.
And if you would want to bring your child into this place. But then we continued this conversation. She really wanted. And then I said, okay, let's do it. And then she said, okay, I will also bring a friend of mine with also child with disability.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there with these two ladies to get, but I did not feel competent to do this by myself because I did not have a previous experience with children with disability.
Sure.
So I said to her, can you bring maybe your therapist from at home? I mean, maybe he's interested to come also on the trip.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know anything.
So that we do some combination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
this guy, he was interested and he came also on the trip.
Mm-hmm.
So we went all together in November, after season, we went there and to this experiment for all of us. And we were very lucky. It was the beginner's luck.
Mm-hmm.
It went well. We went into the sea. Olin was here every day and it worked. It was incredible experience for all of us. And after this, I knew that this is what I want.
Mm-hmm. And you started developing it.
Yeah.
And later on, you came to that to work with certain dolphinariums, with the dolphins there that were trained and in captivity. And that's my next subject, actually, because we all fell in love with these free dolphins beings, but we work with the dolphins that are in captivity. And many people, or not many people, but some people, when they hear that we work with dolphins who are in dolphinariums, they're they have kind of negative approach to that. They feel sorry for the dolphins that they are in captivity. And very often, some people think that we are even abusing them or taking a huge advantage of them or making some serious money with this business. First of all, I can say that there is no big money in this business. This is first thing that is for sure. But I would love to know what someone like you, Robert, who is so long into it, who is taking care 24/7 about these dolphins who are living in captivity, who knows so much about it. How do you react when someone who is sitting in front of his screen at home tell you you are an evil person because you work with dolphins in captivity and you should free your 9 dolphins that are here? What do you tell them? What do you feel? What is your answer to that?
It's a very complex answer, I think.
We have time, I guess.
It's a very complex answer. I think that I can speak about it really for a long time and on what is happening about this opposition that we have and how we have to react to it. When I started in 1992, this opposition was already existing. Mm-hmm. It's just, it looks that it took enormous proportion nowadays, especially in the last, I would say, 10, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I believe this is also related to the different way of communication we have today through the web, through social media, through the information move differently. And we know that this way of communication offer wonderful opportunity to the world, but as it can move real information, it can move also an enormous amount of fake information or disinformation or misinformation, any way we want to call it. But that we have, ignoring the fact that today we have a problem it would be not responsible to not recognize it. So the problem is existing. I don't think the dolphin are the only problem. Today you have growing movement of vegan, basically, that they just want to tell you what you have to eat. You have a lot of movements about so many animal species that it's something that I think the world needs to learn how to live with this and how to manage all this pressure and situation. And we should remain, in my opinion, rational when we think about all these things. Before you said a word, you said the word captivity. And if you look well at the word captivity, it's not a nice word.
No, it's not.
It's captive. It means captive. You are close. You are in prison. You are everything.
Yeah.
On the other side, they love to use the word freedom, and that's a beautiful word.
Yeah.
So you have the captivity, and you are the freedom. If you stand behind the word captivity, you can be only the bad guy. It's not possible to be the good guy if you stand behind captivity. And if you stand behind the word freedom, automatically you are the good guy. And that's the way they make it very simple. I'm not using the word captivity because I don't believe I keep them captive. I keep them in a control environment. Okay, this is an environment different of what they are programmed to, but I can control it.
Yes, but let me interrupt you. When you say I keep them in the control environment, the people who are listening to this and who do have problem with that, they're going to immediately think, look, he's keeping them, he's just changing the word, you know, that he's using.
It's true.
You know, but you're still doing the
you're
bad
right.
thing.
It's not only a question about word. I was just pointing the word captivity in contradiction of freedom. But of course, it's more than a word. I think it's a concept. It's an idea. It's
a narrative.
It's an history.
Yeah.
Now, saying that because I'm working with dolphin for 30 years, and I'm absolutely still convinced of what I'm doing because I love those animals. And if I didn't love them, and if I believe that they are not well in such setting, I wouldn't do it because I love them.
Of course.
People believe that I'm an egoistical person because my passion for the dolphin is egoistical because I force them to live in such condition to feed my need to be close to them. Some people speak to me like this and they can have a point. I can understand that. What I think we should stop to do is, first of all, to stop painting everybody with the same brush. There is not only one way to keep dolphin in captivity. There is 100 ways. And you have so many different situations around the world. You know, there is this industry has an history. And like all history, like all new thing, that many mistake has been done. I recognize it. Many mistake has been done to create this industry of dolphinarium, aquarium, marine land, or whatever you want to call it. And we are learning from our mistakes. We improve, we grow. You will not compare a car from the 50s with a car today. But this is exactly what our opponents are doing, because they will continue to use statistics from the 60s to fight us today, where the conditions are very different. But the conditions are not very different everywhere. I'm speaking for what I'm representing, the company I work for, because where I know what is happening. I'm speaking also on behalf of the association where my park is part of, because I know that in this association we have certain standards, we have certain protocol, we have things that we respect. I don't respond at all, and I don't put my face at all for what is happening maybe in another side of the world where I don't know nothing. Maybe they work very well, maybe they do things that I would be disagree of. The point is, we need to see the history of this. When this started, it has been created for pure entertainment. That was, let's face it, that was a sea circus. In fact, they were promoted like this. Marine Land of the Pacific, 1955. The world, only 3 sea circus aquarium in the world, you know?
Yeah.
And then you has those jumping through the hoop, even hoops of fire, or things unthinkable today. Ethically,
circus.
totally unacceptable from my point of view.
Sure.
But these are the things that was born. And of course, we didn't knew nothing. They didn't knew nothing about those animals, about water treatment, vet care, or whatever the need of the species, the ethology of the species. They were just going in the sea. They were fishing. They were putting them in the tank. If they were surviving, good. If they were not surviving, well, we're just going to go to take another one. And that's it.
Yeah, many people think that that's still the case.
And many people think it's still the same. And unfortunately, in some part of the world, it's still the case, unfortunately, but not everywhere. And so this has grown. So today, so these things with the show and the entertainment, and then we can arrive to an ethical question. Is it correct to teach new generation, young children, that animals, wild animals, at our disposal just to have fun? 20 minutes, the time of a dolphin show. You pay a ticket, you sit down, and it's funny to see a dolphin jumping through hoops of fire. Is it correct to teach that to new generation? Is this the way to respect nature? I don't think so. I speak for myself. I don't think it's correct to keep these animals with that purposes, because if you keep the animal only with that purpose, then you are just interesting about the business related to it. It's fun, the people laugh, it's attractive, they come. So it's something that I can sell, period. There is an evolution, especially in the Western world. I'm speaking about North America, I'm speaking about EU, but not only. But today we believe that if we keep those animals under human care, the only reasons to justify this is to be beneficial for the species and beneficial for the people that come to see them. Beneficial to the species, why? Because those animals can be considered ambassadors of the species. We are in Greece. We have 9 dolphins living under human care. Those are the only individual. Every year in Greece, you have between 150 to 300 animals found dead on the beach. Nobody speaks about them.
Yeah.
Activists will be very focused on our 9 animals here, that they have a very good care. Today in France, there is a big discussion, a big debate to close down Dolphinarium. They are discussing a project of new regulation to close down. Nikola, every year on the Atlantic coast of France, I'm not even speaking about the Mediterranean, just the Atlantic one, 10,000 dolphins dead every year.
Yes.
Pollution, starvation, bycatch, those are the real problem of those animals. So I'm back to them now. So why these animals?
I'm going to interrupt you just for a second, because yesterday, now while we are shooting this podcast today, yesterday they had killed 15,000 dolphins in Faroe Islands.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yesterday was that annual, that thing that they do every year.
The Grindarab, I think they call it.
Yes. 15,000 of these species died yesterday by the human hand.
Yeah, exactly.
In a very brutal way.
So, does it mean that because we keep those animals under human care, that those problems will stop in the wild? No. I'm not arrogant to the point to say this. But we can speak about it using those animals. We can connect the new generation with a real animal. And if you fell in love with that dolphin, because now animal activists will say, well, today, you have a lot of tools. You have a lot of documentary, you have many program on the computer, I'm very scared to live in a world where the kids will discover the world behind a computer screen.
Yeah.
We are already spending too much of our life in front of a screen. It can be a phone, it can be a tablet, it can be a computer. And now we really want to teach the future generation, because for me, a kid that have an eye contact with a real dolphin, it's priceless.
Yeah.
And he will keep an emotion inside, and he will feel involved, because after, when he will go on the news, oh wow, 10,000 dolphins have been killed there, and he said, oh, what is this, the guy I saw at the park there? But that doesn't mean that the park can do nothing, everything he wants. The park needs to work with certain rules. And so first, I think we have a role of awareness. We can clearly teach many about the species itself, their biology, the way they live and everything. We can reproduce all their natural behavior in such an environment. I agree with activists. If you make a dolphin jumping through a hoop of fire, you don't learn nothing about it. Maybe just the fact that he's brave and he trusts the trainer to go inside. I don't see any kind of value in that, except creating the wow at the moment he does it, you know? So it doesn't make sense to me, this. Not only that, in many places like here, incomes produced by this kind of business can be reinvested in conservation program in the wild.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this, Nikola and Norbert. We are all around 50 years old of age. Since we are born,
yeah.
Do you know that 2 species of cetacean have disappeared? Extinction.
Oh.
It's gone. It's finished. Those that in 50 years of time, it's nothing at the scale of the planet. Yeah. We lost 2. And let me tell you this, that today there is another 7 species of animal that if we don't pay attention, in the next 20 years, they're gone.
Of marine mammals?
Dolphins.
Of dolphins?
7 species are today seriously in danger, and if we don't take action now, these animals probably in 20 to maybe 40 years, you know, it's difficult to make an estimation, they will be gone. And when it's extinction, is forever. So instead of wasting time to speak about those 9 guys, that we really take a good care of it, I think the dolphin problem is elsewhere.
Yeah.
And what frustrates me so much is that they don't spend 1% of the time to speak about those real animals in the wild, that they are suffering and everything. They will say, well, your bottlenose dolphin is not an endangered species, so you don't make conservation, because the animal that they are in danger, it's not those. So why you keep them? Mm-hmm. And they're right. And I say, well, I use them as the cousin of those that they are in danger. Mm-hmm. And last but not least, in my answer, today they are not in danger. In 150 years of time, we will not be there anymore. But maybe the future generation will be happy to have all this collection of animals around the world. Mm-hmm. And they will say, oh my God, there is no more bottlenose dolphin in the Mediterranean Sea. Thanks God we have the aquarium, and then the species is still existing, and maybe we can release some back in the wild and reintroduce them. Some animal species, not cetacean, has been saved by zoological park. There is a species of antelope in the Maghreb, in north of Africa. It was gone in the wild. The zoo kept it alive. And today we even have program of reintroduction of the animals to the natural environment.
How is it with the dolphins and their reintroduction to the wild? Because most of the dolphins here are born in dolphinariums.
So look, in this pool, all.
In this pool, all. So basically,
the European population that I am coordinating, we have at the moment roughly 265 animals, and 210 of them, which is roughly 80% of them, are born under human care. The other one are the old one, we call them founders, which are becoming oldies now. Because we have to know, activists are very funny sometimes. You know, in the 80s, in the 90s, we didn't have so much breeding success. We had a lot of loss because we didn't know how to do it properly. So back then, the argumentation was, you know, they are not okay under human care in captivity because they don't breed. They don't reproduce themselves. Now we have very good breeding success. So now they say, well, you create new prisoners, you know? So now they are trying to obtain breeding ban because we can't breed them. The last wild dolphin that has been introduced in a European dolphinarium, a wild one, collected from the sea, was 20 years ago.
Wow.
And when 20 years ago, at the moment that it was done, I think we had, I will not say, between 140 and 150 animals. 20 years after, we have now 265. and we are self-sustainable. We don't even we are people like me. We are totally disagree of going in the sea to collect wild animals.
Of course,
I don't think it's ethically acceptable anymore.
Absolutely not.
Especially when you don't need to do it, you know, because you have
not.
sufficiently a number of animals living under human care. So just to give you numbers, and I'm speaking again for the EU, we have 94% of genetical diversity in the collections we have. And we are self-sustainable with this group of 265 animals for 200 years without any importation of animal from outside. This is 8.5 generation.
Yeah.
That's show how serious is our collection management. We take it very seriously. It's not something that done only with dolphin. We have program like this with elephant, gorilla, many animals. And there is a coordinator for all these species. For the bottlenose dolphin, it's me. And I work with all the park, and we try to create harmonious group, you know, this not only for breeding, you know, because of course the first purpose is to maintain the collection. So we need to have a sustainable breeding, genetically healthy, but we also create group that they are compatible between them. You know, those animals are social. So you say, sometimes we say, well, these two guys are not doing very well together, but in that park would be better. So we choose. And there, I'm back to the action of the activists, because one thing is funny with the activists. They complain that pools are small. Because of course, if you look at a pool and you look at the ocean, it's a drop. And for them, it's obvious, you know, they have a drop like this, we have the ocean. How they can be happy? And they will tell you that they can swim 100 kilometers per day, they can dive 300 meters, that they can, well, that's not true. This is not the way they live in the wild either, you know, but they keep pushing for closing dolphinarium. And I have to say, unfortunately, in the last 10 years in Europe, they succeeded. For some cases, some place has closed because of their action, and maybe we will have more to come. But did they find alternatives?
No, they didn't.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
So what happens? They complain because we don't have space, but they have reduced the space of the animal. Because all the animals that from the dolphin that have been closed, we have
they
first,
were not brought
no,
back
we
to
have
the sea.
to we have to split existing group, and 1, 2 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. So now we have pool more crowded because of them.
Yeah.
And they continue to try to push to close. Now they even worse. They are trying to impeach us to breed, because they know that as long as we breed, their agenda cannot reach the point. So they try to breed to obtain the breeding ban, and they try to make our life complicated. The life complicated, they say, well, you cannot export in another country anymore. You cannot import in that country. You cannot do this. You cannot do that. And they think the damages. No, guys, they don't damage us. They damage the dolphins.
Absolutely.
Because the dolphins are the loser of that thing. They lose space, I just already said it. But if you start to impeach them to breed, you impeach them to do something extremely natural.
Yeah.
Stopping the breeding is not something easy. You need to put females under contraceptive, you know, and we know that if a long-term use of contraceptive of dolphin can damage them. If you don't do that, you need to put a gate between the male and the female, and this is extremely cruel, because the female, you can even generate aggression, aggressivity, or frustration. So I don't see the point. And if you impeach them to move from park to park, let's imagine that one of my dolphin here, one of the 9 guys, suddenly he doesn't feel well with this group. But maybe there is not a dolphinarium in Europe where the pod there would be perfect for him. If there is a ban of movement, the animal loses the opportunity.
Absolutely.
And he will be forced to stay in the situation which is not convenient anymore for him. So that's why we fight back very hard. Well, we fight, it's not even a fight, we try to defend the interest of the animals as best as we can, but it starts to be tiring. It's also a bit frustrating. You know, I say always something very, very funny, but I say it in a funny way, but it's not funny at all. You know, when I started in 1992 and people were asking me, what are you doing? You have a dolphin. Wow, you are doing one of the most beautiful jobs in the world.
Yeah.
Today, when the people ask me what I'm doing, sometimes I'm afraid to answer. I'm going to receive a punch on my face. Maybe it's better to say that I'm selling second-hand car. It's more safer, you know. And So I exaggerate a bit, but really the perception has changed.
The perception has changed tremendously, yes.
But yes and no, because I understood a bit how works social media. I give you an example. One time we had a demonstration here on the parking lot of the zoo, people that were against the fact that we have dolphin here. And
that was against the whole zoo?
First,
or
the dolphin.
Against the dolphins?
The dolphin. At the moment, for animal activists, the dolphin is the top priority.
Yeah, but
be sure
what
that
is
if
the
they
difference?
remove the zoo, they will move to another species.
Yes, but what is the difference, you know?
Tell me, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
And,
there are giraffes here as well.
You're right, but they don't really think much about them at the moment.
Yeah, crazy.
Anyway, there were about 25 guys complaining about the fact that we have dolphin here. They were on a parking lot and I said, free them home, put them back in the sea, blah, 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 all the same story. And a colleague of the zoo was there on the parking lot with me. We were observing, and he was asking me. He was not an animal person. He was a person working in the administration of this. He said, well, you're not worried about this for the future. And I say, no. And he said, you know why? Because there are 25. They come one day a year. And today in the zoo, we probably have 3,000 people.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we will have the same number. And tomorrow they will not even be there.
Yeah.
The day we will have 3,000 people complaining on the parking lot and 25 visitors in the zoo, I will be worried.
Yeah.
But it's not yet the case. But what's the problem? The 25 people can be extremely noisy.
Yeah.
Because if you hate something, because those are professional haters.
Yeah.
If you hate something, you use all the weapons you have to show and to spread your hate.
And you definitely don't try to understand it.
You're very active, you know, and share. And, you know, and with the system of sharing, you know, a fake information become a law in 10 minutes. But all the visitors that they are coming in a zoo like here, we have roughly 300,000 visitors per year. And they love what we do. Much higher number of the few opponents we have. But the people that they love, they come, they spend the day here, and they like what we do because they are not obsessed by the topic. They will not go on the social media
and scream about it,
I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it. They spend their day and it's over, you know. The hater will be active. So the action of the hater looks like to be enormous. But I think it's just, the good thing is most of the time, I would say at 95% of the time, I could say easily the war, if we can call this a war, on social media we lost it.
Yeah.
But every time we end up in court,
it's a different situation.
we win.
All right.
Because in front of the justice, in front of the law,
those are the clear. You have to have the clear.
The judge based on fact.
On facts, yes.
And not
you have to have a fact.
on emotion, because this is an emotional talk, most of it. Now the future of these animals, they keep speaking about, well, you need to return them in a sea sanctuary. So the question, what is a sea sanctuary? It's not even existing.
Yeah, it has to be built first.
Their concept of a sea sanctuary, it's a large bay, you close it with a net and you dump the dolphin in the middle, and they say, well, they will have waves, they will have fish, they will have... and they will be happy. Well, that's your idea that they will be happy.
Maybe yes,
if you have
maybe
an animal
not.
that is born
Here
in a concrete
and
pool and
here.
you put it there, you don't know if you will.
It's going to get panic attack or something like this.
Panic. The concept of space, it's a human concept. Look at the dolphinarium here. We have the main pool.
Yeah, it's a
and
huge...
we have small pools.
Yeah.
Some animals prefer to stay in the small one.
I saw it, yeah. I was
and
observing
usually
it.
is the stronger one.
I was observing
love
it.
to stay in a really small place. And this you can observe it in many places. And sometimes it even frustrates us because we now tend to build always bigger dolphinarium. And then you give them the opportunity to go wherever they want, and they stay in the little one. They say, why we did it so big? But I believe it has a meaning, it has a reason, because they probably, it's a territorial thing. It's more easy to defend a smaller place than a bigger one. Now, if you have animal, because I have moved animal that they have lived in a very small dolphinarium, and suddenly we reintroduce them in a much bigger one. And those guys need time to get used to the big pool.
Yeah, we saw it last year here.
Imagine you take one now from a pool and you dump it in the sea. An animal that was not even born there. He doesn't even know what it is.
And doesn't know how to catch the fish.
No.
And it's a huge space. He cannot orient it very well there, right?
Yeah, no. It's a...
Yeah. What is your opinion?
I don't say it's impossible to do it, but it would need a tremendous amount of work. And now I will be back and I will finish with this to the conservation. If we wanted to reintroduce those 9 animals to the ocean, well, it's not reintroduce, it would be introduced.
Yes,
if you consider that they've never been in the
yes.
sea, so it would be introduced them. That would require a tremendous amount of time and money and resources to do this.
Yeah.
Do you remember the movie for the kids, Free Willy? The
Sure,
whale,
sure.
Okay? The whale that was used in that movie name was Keiko, and he
Keiko,
has been.
right.
They did a program to reintroduce them to the wild. It was a total failure, and they have spent 20 million US dollar. And you remember before I was telling you 7 species of dolphins are in danger.
Yeah.
Some are in the Atlantic coast of Africa, and there, with that money,
Could have saved them.
You save not an animal,
The species.
you save a species.
Yeah.
So we need to use the money at the right place, and we need to give the right message.
Yeah.
But we are an easy target. We are an easy target.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Do you have something to add to this subject, Norbert? From your perspective, from your vision as a dolphin therapist who have spent a lot of time with these guys in the water, exactly as I did, thank goodness.
I absolutely agree with what Robert is saying, and I'm really grateful that we have the opportunity to
hear this side.
That
yes.
you share
yes.
your profound opinion and very fact-based opinion on this truly difficult and complex topic. Yeah.
Topic, yeah.
On my behalf, what I could add to all this is there is a tremendous effort in dolphinariums or in zoos to create an environment for the animals that fulfills their species needs.
Mm-hmm.
And we call this behavioral or social enrichment. Mm-hmm. It means that we try to give the animal opportunities to express itself and to stimulate the animal in order to keep the health, the psychological and physical health in a good condition for the particular animal. There's a lot of science behind all this and for these concepts, and each species requires a specific strategies. And we also, of course, with the dolphins, this is also a big topic, and there are specialists who dedicate on that question. I became a little bit part of that in terms of interaction programs, because this is the thing that I'm involved with for 20 years. And I had a great opportunity to do a research project at the Dolphinarium in Constanța in Romania, where 2 dolphins live, and they did not, these dolphins were animals that were used for public display, but did not experience an interaction program before. So it was a unique study opportunity to introduce an interaction program to them and to study what is the reaction on their behalf. Mm-hmm. Do they benefit from this? Can this be a social or behavioral enrichment for them?
For the dolphins,
to
do the therapy with the children, yeah.
Will the dolphins benefit from it?
Also, and not only your patients, or our patients.
Yes, and not only like, is it all good or all bad, but also learn from the process of introducing an interaction program or a dolphin, this was in this case a dolphin-assisted therapy interaction program to animals who have been entirely unexperienced with this. And we made very interesting observations or experiences. We saw that the dolphins who did not know this kind of activity before, that they at first, of course, they were hesitant against it because they did not. For them, it was totally not natural.
Not natural and totally new.
That new people are entering the pool, because they were only used that they have only been interacting with the trainers before, and maybe with a veterinary or with divers who are cleaning the pool, but not with new people who are approaching them. And it was interesting because it was a challenge, but it created also a bit of stress. So we had to be very careful and gentle and not like rushing this. But we also saw that they started to like it. And some indicators, for example, that we scheduled the session always at the same time during the day. And they already knew that at that time, at 11 o'clock, people will come and enter.
Interaction will take part.
Yeah. So already before the program started, before the trainer was entering the platform and calling them, they already went to the platform and they looked out for the children or for the trainers and for the action to begin. So for us, it was a sign that they are interested into this activity. Of course, it was a special situation. There were only 2 animals, so they did not have a very rich social life. Here it's different. Here we have a big group. It's almost a natural group size, so they have a very rich social life. And so for them, they don't have this need for a social life that they could not fulfill with each other. In this specific case, there were only 2 of them, so it was kind of boring in terms of socializing. Yeah. So and we learned that we have to be careful. We have to do it step by step, and if it's too much, then it's not beneficial. Then it stresses them, and so we define parameters. And also how to assess what level of or what quantity of this activity suits them, and to which degree they are benefiting from it, enjoying it, and where it is turning into stress. So this was a very interesting, and I think also it contributes to the knowledge. I think here in this, we have a very big group, but also not all of the dolphins who are included in the program here had so much previous experience.
Yes.
So, and also here, okay, it's not scientific, it's anecdotal, but also here in the morning when we are entering, we are coming into the arena here, the dolphins approach us, they greet us, and they already know what's coming today. So it looks to me also that they are interested into this activity. And it seems to me that also in this setting, even though it's a very rich place, it can be also beneficial in terms of behavioral enrichment.
Can it be beneficial for the dolphins? Are they greeting the people because they're curious, because they are having something from that interaction, or they are only interested in fish in the bucket?
No. I think one thing that we should have very clear, the fish is not the motivation.
The fish is not the motivation.
No, because the fish is a tool. It's a reinforcement, a primary reinforcer. And ignoring its importance would not be honest. So, but those animals know very well that whatever they will do during the day or not doing, nobody will let them starving.
Yeah.
Okay, this animal knows exactly that at the end of the day, whatever happened, the diet is full. This is our policy and we will never change it. Now, this being said, Norbert said something very important. He said the group is rich. It's true, 9 animals, so they have a lot of social dynamic between them. But I think when we speak not only about therapy, and I will come to the therapy specifically after, because this is a bit the purpose of this discussion, but when you keep an animal in an environment like this, he just mentioned the case of those two animals that he worked with, that they had a poor social life, which is true. They were only two, and anything new could appear interesting. When you arrive in a place and you work only with two animals, and it has happened to me, and you arrive to the pool in the morning, even as trainer, and when the two guys arrive in front of you, ready, what are we doing today? It looks nice. It's not so nice in reality.
Okay.
Because why it's not so nice? It can look nice for you from your human point of view, because, oh, they are there, they will participate with me, they want to do something. Well, if they arrive so quickly, that means that they were, before you arrived, they were not doing anything really interesting.
Okay, yeah.
You understand? And basically, your arrival in such poor setting interrupt a state of boredom. And that's why sometimes when you work in a place where you don't have a lot of animals, sometimes they're more responsive than the place where you have maybe 20 dolphins in the same lagoon, for example. Because they are much more difficult to control. Because me, when I arrive here in the morning, the first thing I go in the pool because I just want to see 9 dorsal fin first. I want to see
that everyone is healthy and alive.
Everybody is alive, everybody is okay, everybody is fine. I have to look at them. They see me and they don't stop to do what they are doing because they are doing something. I need to call them. Guys, breakfast.
I'm here, yeah.
You know, because they are doing their life. And that's good. That's good. We should not think egoistical, you know. Let's imagine now the real time of interaction between the human and the animals in a setting like this. Even if you're a very busy dolphinaria, you make a lot of shows in the summer, an interactive program, or maybe session of therapy in addition, the real time of involvement of the animal will rarely exceed 5 to 6 hours. Rarely.
Yeah, and the rest
of the
time...
I consider the day 24. And I'm not thinking about those 5 hours. Those are easy. We are there. We can intervene. We can intervene positively, negatively. We can do whatever possible. But it has to work now when we are not with them. And when they have to do their life. And to do this, you need to have a really nice social setting. So sufficient number of animals to create relationship stuff between them. That means that your animals will have a better life. Now, the activity, and the dolphin-assisted therapy is one of it. Anything that you can create to stimulate them, because those animals need to be stimulated physically and mentally. Those guys are programmed in the wild to spend 50% of their time moving or hunting to look for food. At the moment I give the food, this 50% of time of biorhythm they have, you need to balance it by something else, huh? Because they're, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? They need to jump, they need to swim, they need to lift, they need to do something. And call it a show, call it an educational presentation, call it an interactive program, call it dolphin therapy, call it whatever you want, they need to do something. So, following this logic, the dolphin therapy is positive because it's an additional program that you had to other program that they already have. The program is specific. It needs every type of program you do with dolphins. If you want to do a dolphin show, you want the animal to be dynamic, you want the animal to be energetic, you want to have actions, you want to have... Dolphin therapy is the opposite. You want the animal to be as calm as possible. You want the animal to be relaxed. You want the animal... We ask them energetic stuff also during a therapy. I'm learning also. This is a new experience for me. We started this experience here with NORBERT last year. Yes. You know, I'm really discovering many things, even on my own animals that I didn't know. And what for sure I can say with now the experience I have is that some animals fit better than others to do it. Some animals are more tactile than others. Some animals really take pleasure to be petted. Some animals will be petted, but for them it's work, you know? I can train you. Every dolphin can be trained to be pet, but that's not the point. Who likes to be pet? That's the point, you know. I can train any dolphin in the world to be pet, but the point is I would like to do this with the one who likes to do it. And then when you reach the point that you know your animal so well and you know what he likes and what he doesn't like, you build a nice program.
Correct.
For the participant, but as well for the animals.
Correct.
That's why having a big group make the organization of a therapy more complicated. Logistical problem, you need more people, more hands, more... The possibility that something happen is bigger than if you have just 2 animals in the pool. But with the time, and I think we are just in year number 2.
Yeah.
I try to have a vision in year number 10 now.
Yeah.
And those guys will be there and they will accumulate experience, they will grow. Today there is even guys that we are not even involving in this program.
Yeah.
Maybe in 3 years of time, everybody will do it.
Yeah.
You know? And maybe one will be very good for that segment. One will be better for that one. The good thing is to keep their brain stimulating with something, to keep them busy. Now, again, I'm learning, and I notice, you know, there is some, and now I'm entering the aspect that I don't know, which is
the dolphin
aspect
therapy,
of NORBERT. So with these children with disabilities, and this is completely a new thing for me, you know, and I see that the dolphin reacts. NORBERT was explaining before that historically this program was born for mostly autistic children, and we have some coming here, but I saw also
in every group,
other children with other type of disability or disorder.
Correct.
And they express this disorder or this disability in a totally different way than an autistic maybe. You know? And some kids can be very calm, some kids can be extremely excited, and then it's your knowledge of your animals that dolphin will fit with that kid more than with that one, because that dolphins maybe is more afraid of a kid that moves too much. That one doesn't care at all. You can drop a bomb next to him and he says, so what? You know, so you need to have this relationship with the therapist, because the therapist will give you the information about the kid. You need to know very well your animals, and then you will make the connection.
And then you're going to get also the feedback from us therapists.
And what I notice is that, because I do it myself, is as the program moves, I really feel it like this, as the program goes on, the dolphin trainer, after 1 week, you know much more about the kid.
Yes, absolutely.
And
you're directly involved.
And the therapist, after 1 week, you know much more about the dolphin.
Absolutely.
And that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Because this is really sharing 2 professions that, and we merge it for one common goal. And it works very well. So at the moment, I'm very enthusiastic.
Me as a therapist, you know, I can also say, you know, that I'm always establishing a special contact with a certain dolphins, you know, and like humans, you understand better with this guy or with that guy and less with this guy. And it was always the case. It was the case for me when I was in Florida doing it, when I was in Turkey doing it. You know, you always have your favorite boys or girls, right? And I probably it's the same situation with both of you. You know, that's human. You know, because when you make a difference between them as individuals, of course you're gonna like someone more than the other one, because just the behavior.
I have my favorite one here in the pool. I will never tell you who is what.
Because it's the same one as mine. But, it's the same one as mine. I know that. we have the same favorite dolphin here.
But as the guy in charge, I can't say that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say it either. But NORBERT is doing also something very interesting at the moment. We have to say also a couple of words about all these people who are involved here. At the first place, the worldwide best dolphin therapist, Susana Mateova, who is actually my own angel, guardian angel, and our angel here in the group. We're going to see her later on. She's going to come to give us the last gong at the end. And also your fantastic team of trainers. These guys are so fantastic and so beautiful, and they are also enthusiastic, charismatic, worthy they work like hell, and they love these animals, you know. The approach that they have to these 9 guys is beautiful, you know. So I think that if some of the activists were totally against all that story, if they would be sitting here the whole day and watching your stuff, working with these boys, they would totally change the opinion. Then we have, from our side, all the therapists that were involved in this work for all these years in all these countries where we have been, almost a little bit like a circus, right?
Yeah.
in the Turkey and everywhere, you know, and this is
a traveling circus.
A traveling circus. And then, at the same time, you know, we are doing something that is very interesting also from the scientific point of view, because Norbert is also doing a scientific work on a dolphin-assisted therapy already for many years. That is going to be published, right? What are you actually, in which direction you want to go with your scientific work? What is that you are particularly interested in a dolphin therapy? What are the benefits that you are trying to catch out from these experiences that we are having here with the children?
Well, in my scientific work, at first, I focused very much on the effectiveness of dolphin-assisted therapy, because in this therapy, this discipline is still in its beginning.
Yes, we want to have results.
Yes, and
parents want to have results.
Yeah, we want to have results. We want to show our results, and we want to know the degree and the quality of the results based on scientific data. So that was the point of that was the focus of my interest in the late 90s and in the 0 years, and I think that was the general interest, scientific interest, and dolphin-assisted therapy research in those early years, and then my focus in 2005. A biology student approached me with a master's thesis project, and her scientific interest was on the behalf of the dolphin. She wanted to study, or the aim of the project was to find out whether the dolphin is providing with random behavior, or if the dolphin specifically alternates his behavior depending on who he interacts with. And we were very lucky at that time that we had a setting when we worked with dolphin-assisted therapy at the Dolphinarium in Yalta and Crimea, where the dolphin therapy was splitted into a structured part. So we worked with the trainers with behaviors, and then we had a part of the session was free interaction. And at this free interaction, all the clients were with their therapists in the big pool, together with all the animals, and the trainers were reinforcing the animals, specifically when they got engaged with the clients.
Okay.
So the dolphins did not perform on command. They performed randomly from their will, whatever they wanted to do, but they were only reinforced for being engaged with the client. So if they chose not to interact, then they did not get the fish. But when they choose to approach and presented themselves to be petted, or they offered their dorsal to take for a little ride, and these things, then we did this behavior with the dolphin, and the dolphin received a reinforcement. So this way we could study. So we focused on a specific dolphin, which behaviors he is presenting to a specific client, and the other way around. And it was really interesting. First of all, the dolphins, they very quickly developed a preference for specific clients. So a specific client approached significantly more a dolphin a client.
Yeah.
So it was not random for them. So they did not approach them fair, the same way. But a specific dolphin liked a specific client very much and would approach it very often. And then it was on top of that. So by that we could say the dolphin developed some kind of preference towards a client.
Do you know what I have as an experience? Sorry to interrupt you fast. I had an experience couple of times, and I think we thought about it, or we talked about it already, that sometimes, especially when I was in Turkey, that the severe, like the disability of the client, if it was bigger, you know, like with the children that are very spastic, like a very hard case of cerebral palsy, somehow I always had a feeling, maybe it's just subjective, that the dolphins are approaching these clients or patients with the special care.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
And this is absolutely
so interesting.
And this is exactly the second part of the outcome of this study, that the type of behaviors the dolphin was presenting to the client really matched very well the needs of the client. So with a child that had a lot of, who didn't have such a severe disability, maybe just a mild disability or no disability, and was very active, the dolphin came and took the child on a wild ride, on a fast ride. With the other child, maybe we had one boy, he was paralyzed on one leg. The dolphin approached the boy and lifted the leg.
With his head?
With his rostrum. Like this. Yeah. So so obviously the dolphin understood or somehow tried to present the appropriate behavior or a behavior that maybe, I don't know, I don't want to anthropomorphize. I don't want to, you know, like it's like a human person, but in the dolphin reasoning, maybe he tried to do something to provoke a good reaction or some reaction from the child. So he tried maybe different things, and what worked well with a good reaction, he did this more in terms of reinforcement.
As a huge dolphin connoisseur, do you think that they have that compassionate side as well towards us humans?
Look, I don't know. I think it's very difficult to not going in anthropomorphism with this, but I have experience with dolphin that make you thinking, you know. I would not speak about therapy, but I can tell you that story. Many years ago, I was working in a dolphinarium, and the owner had a very little child, about 2 years old, and he wanted me to take the child in the pool with the dolphin to swim. So I had to take the child, and I said, well, we had dolphin quite agitated, especially a female. I remember she was very agitated and not aggressive, but in her movement. And I said, well, with such small child, it doesn't look safe to me. And that animal, you know, when we were going in the water, we always had to be careful the way she moved and everything. Well, I went in the pool with that little kid in my arm, and that specific dolphin came. I never saw her so quiet in all the period I worked with her. It looked like really she came very, very, very gently. It looks like really she felt, okay, now
there is a fragile child, or what?
I cannot mess, you know. It's a bit anthropomorphic, but it happened.
So the dolphin came gently?
Very gently, and everything went very well. And I was surprised myself, because I was not expecting that reaction, because I knew that animal, and I knew that animal was a hyper-dynamic animal, and that she had difficulty to control her power, basically.
Yeah.
But it looked like that with us, she was like this, but when we took something more fragile in the pool, she understood it. Because I saw that calmness with her, only on that circumstances. So I want to believe that they have a capacity to understand what. I think I think they're very good to show us what they don't like. They know how to do that very well, you know. They have different ways. Some will be more extreme than other, but they know how to show us.
Body language.
I think you need to know them very well to understand when they like something, you know. And there is small signs, you know, even in the therapy here. If you take a dolphin, for example, very tactile, that he likes to be pet, and you lay down the dolphin, we do what we call lineup, you know, and then you let the kid, the therapist, whoever, to start the petting, and if you see the dolphin suddenly relaxing, you feel it. You feel the tension of the animal going. You see maybe sometimes the eye closing, you know?
Yeah.
Those are signs of relaxation.
Relaxation, yeah, absolutely.
On the opposite side, if you see an animal that while the petting, you start to see body movement, doesn't stay calm. Instead of having the eyes closed, you will start to have the eye hyper-dilated. Might means that he's not that comfortable.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I think and that's why we are trainer. That's why we are animal caretaker. We need to know them and always to provide them what they need at the moment they need it. You know? Something we need always as human when you work with wild animal under human care. And it's something that we tend to forget, but we impose a schedule. And the animal, they don't care about our schedule.
Yeah, they don't care about time. They don't care about...
If you plan, I wanted to do dolphin shot 11 o'clock, and they say, oh, I did 11 o'clock, I was doing something else. The dolphin will tell you. You say, why I have to do it now? So it will come because he's an animal willing to participate, but maybe he's not in the mood to do it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because we decide it has to be at 11. So if you have a dolphin, maybe if you have to do a dolphin-assisted therapy, it's the same thing. At a certain hours, and in that hours, he was in a mood to do something else.
Yeah.
This is why it's nice to have many animals. It's nice to have possibility of choice, because like this, you can be variable. You can, you can do things. And if this guy is not, at the moment, I don't have here the level of variability I would like to have still, you know, because we're still building the situation. But this is my goal.
That's a very good goal.
That's my goal. That's my goal. I would like to say, now we have established dolphin, you know, for the therapy. But I would like to reach the point that when you arrive in the morning and we have 3 sessions, okay, session 1 is going to be dolphin, that thing, that one. In the next one, we will use that one,
the other dolphin.
Or based on what the one he liked it very much, we're going to do another one with him. If I reach that, I'm hyper satisfied.
Yeah. You know, working with you the whole last summer and the whole summer this year, you know, I know what kind of guy you are and how positive and great and emotional and fantastic human being actually you are. I can say that, and I consider you a friend. The funny thing is, I wrote a novel 7 years ago. It's called A Dolphin Called Clown, and it's an imaginary story, and the director of this dolphinarium where the whole story is taking place is actually an asshole. And you are a total opposite to that director from some imaginable dolphinarium in Sarasota where my story is taking place. And I'm really proud that you're sharing all these wonderful stories with us, not only now in front of the cameras, but whenever we sit and whenever we talk. And now for the end, I just wanted to pay attention on Norbert for a second and to ask him. He said to me a couple of days ago when we were in the water working, you know, he said, in this setup, with this team, with Robert, this is at the moment the best dolphin-assisted therapy that there is in the world. Nobody else, nowhere else, in US, in Curacao, in wherever they're doing it, is not doing it that well. Do you still think so?
Yes, absolutely.
And where are we going from here? What are your plans? What are your ideas? What are your what is the next step? Just like shortly now for the end. What are your goals for the future in therapy? Because your goals are going to probably be also in a certain way my goals as well, because I'm going to be in Susanna's goals.
We're sitting in one boat.
We are sitting in one boat, you know, with that. Where do you want to go from here? You're doing now the scientific work. You want to, for sure, continue working with such a great guy as Robert. What do we want? What do we want, really? What do we want to see? You know, when I come to work, you know, and I know I have this child and that child and that child for another 2 weeks with me every single day in the water. I somehow dream about it. What is the progress that I want to make with these kids? What is my little goal that is going to make this child feel better or be better involved in a society around us? What is it that where you want to go as a dolphin therapist or researcher of a dolphin-assisted therapy?
Well, 3 or 4 years ago, when we started to think about setting up a program together, I was really excited to work with you. After I saw how you work with your animals and how you manage the place, and I really felt blessed by this project that we are pursuing together, and I think we really share so many. We share a vision and an opinion how this should be done, especially about the well-being of the dolphin also, because it is my deep understanding that only if the dolphin is
satisfied
comfortable
yeah.
and happy, and maybe even benefiting also from this activity, it genuinely will benefit the client as well. This is not a show. This is a true thing that's happening between individuals, an animal, a client, a trainer, a therapist, and so there is a wonderful conjunction of optimizing the animal's needs and the client's needs at the same time. And I think that based on this common interest, yeah, it is a wonderful opportunity here to develop this concept further, and we learn every day what, and the animals are learning also every day, but we are learning every day what it takes to improve this activity for the dolphins that are involved, and also at the same time for the clients. And it's exciting, in my opinion. So my vision or my goal is, I would be, for me, this wonderful vision to continue here in this place with this common goal, and to create something even more wonderful.
Thank you for this talk, guys. Robert Goichetta and Norbert TROMPISCH.
With pleasure.
Zuzana Mateova, who is, as I said, the best dolphin therapist. Yeah. I really think so. I'm not joking. She's gonna give us now for the end a last gong. Suzička, come here to us. Thank you for your patience. It's already got dark. You know, here in Athens, we didn't even realize that by talking. This is Zuzana Mateova. Again, Norbert TROMPISCH and Robert Goichetta. Zuzana, bring us to the end.
Yeah.
Dear friends, that was Nikola Radin Way podcast number 55. Neither do I know what podcast number 56 is going to be, but it's going to be a surprise for sure. Not only for you, but also for me. Again, Robert Goichetta, Norbert TROMPISCH, Zuzana Mateova, Nikola Radin Way, all day. I invented it yet. Nikola Radin Way all day. Sounds good. Yeah, we're going to use it. And thank you, the guys behind the camera.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.